One of the most interesting aspects of Parashat Pinchas is not the fact that Hashem rewards Pinchas for his zeal. It's not the fact that he's rewarded by allowing him to become one of the Kohanim. It's the fact, as Rabbi Baruch Gelman says, that he's given a Brit Shalom, a covenant of peace, when his actions are actions of tremendous violence. His actions end the serious sins that have transpired in the midst of the children of Israel, but it's an amazing aspect of the story that Hashem grants him this covenant of peace. Now, how do we understand this? Why would he be given this as opposed to some kind of recognition, shall we say, if we use modern day terms, medal of bravery or something of that nature? Well, we look to the story of Rabbi Shalom Mordecai Hakohen Schwadron, who was known as the Maggid of Jerusalem. Now, interestingly enough, Rabbi Schwadron was not Hasidic, he was Haredi, but he told stories, and this is why he's known as the Maggid. One of the stories that he tells takes place in the immediate years after the Great War, the First World War. And he tells of serious financial, political circumstances that are affecting people's livelihood. And there is a family in Jerusalem, apparently, who was very astute. They weren't well off, but they were very astute, and they planned to sort of overcome any kind of financial difficulties that they might see by investing in a gold coin that was called a Napoleon or Napoleon. Now, one day, the family sends their child to go buy bread, and by some mishap, the child takes the gold coin instead of a regular coin. The family realizes what's happened once the boy has returned with the bread, and they're, of course, panicking. They realize they know the store owner. He's a good man. He's a righteous man. They go and speak to him, confident that the issue will be resolved. They go to the man and they ask him, "Did you see the coin? Did you see our son?" And he says, "Yes, I saw your son. He came in, a little while ago. He took some bread." And they said, "But he paid with a gold coin." And he said, "No, it was just a regular coin." And they said, "Well, please check your register, your cash box, whatever it was." He opens it up, and of course, there's nothing there. And so the family isn't able to believe that he didn't receive the coin. And he says, "But I didn't take it. There wasn't anything there to take." And so the family demands that they go to the Beit Din. And before the Beit Din, the shopkeeper comes and he says, "I didn't take anything. I'm willing to take an oath that this is the truth." At hearing this, the family objects and says, No, we don't want any Jew to create a Chilul Hashem, a desecration of God's name, by taking an oath that will be false. And so we drop the case. We don't want to press the charges or follow through with this procedure. I don't have anything to do with the shopkeeper, but we're not going to press the case. So they drop it. The shopkeeper has fulfilled his obligations as well. And one might think that everything would return to normal, but people begin to learn about what's happened and they formulate their own conclusions. And so what they do is they begin to boycott the shopkeeper. And as a consequence, he loses his business, and of course he has to move somewhere else because he can't thrive in a community that believes that he steals from children. Now, Rabbi Schwadron asked the question, who was right? Who acted justly? Well, we won't find that out until we get to the second part of the story. Many years later, a young man walks up to the family in Jerusalem that had the gold coin. He knocks on the door, they open, and they see this young man, and he has a gold Napoleon in his hand. And he gives it to them, and he says, "I want to express my sincere apologies. I was young, I had a family, I was going through financial difficulties through the recent issues that were playing out in the world, and I saw a child playing with a gold coin, and I thought, my goodness, that this must be a family of great wealth that even a child has a gold coin." So I began to play with the child, and I exchanged my regular coin for his, and he let me keep it, and I used that to feed my family. But I swore that I would make it up and I would come back and give you that gold coin. And so I wanted to apologize. I hope that you understand my circumstances. Here's the gold coin. Please forgive me. All the best. And of course, the family was in shock because they had assumed all this time that the shopkeeper had been the guilty one. So who, as Rabbi Schwadron asked, acted righteously? Well, the family did righteous because they didn't assault the shopkeeper. They went to the Beit Din. They followed the correct procedure. The shopkeeper didn't do anything wrong, of course, to begin with, but he was willing to take an oath. So then who acted incorrectly? The individual who took the coin, repented, made teshuvah, made amends, but the individuals who spread the rumors and came to the conclusion that whatever they believed to be true was true and ended the livelihood of this individual, those are the individuals that acted maliciously and created many repercussions that affected many people's lives, not just a shopkeeper, but his family, etc. The idea here in relation to Pinchas, I think, is quite obvious. The Torah tells us that Pinchas had to go and take the spear. As Rabbi Baruch Gelman points out, he had to go and take, he didn't have it with him. He had to take it, and then he acted zealously. Yes, in a violent manner, but in a manner that was ultimately justified by Hashem. But he wasn't an individual that was looking to strike out at people at any time that he believed that they had committed an avera or they had done something wrong. He acted only when it was necessary. And so Shalom, this Brit Shalom that Hashem gives to Pinchas, is a reflection of the fact that Pinchas set things in order. He restored things to the way that they should have been. He restored the boundaries of relationships the way they should have been conducted. And it's an amazing story because he's not looking for tension. He's not looking for antagonism. He's not attacking people without justification. This is the covenant of peace that Hashem gives to Pinchas because Pinchas recognizes that it is only in certain times, with the full facts displayed before an individual, that the individual should act in such an extreme manner. The people who caused the destruction of the shopkeeper's business were those individuals who were ready to pounce and to pass judgment on anyone that they deemed to have done wrong, instead of waiting or realizing that the Beit Din had dismissed the case. In that particular situation, no one was guilty. May Hashem grant us the same ability to reserve our judgment and our desire for justice and not to mix it with transgressions that affect other people's lives.